The city of Durango is embarking on a project to design and eventually construct an underpass of Camino del Rio near 12th Street and Veterans Way. The first step in this project is a design charrette to capture the city boards and commission's vision for the underpass. Downtown Durango is a vibrant hub in southwest Colorado, serving as the social and commercial heart for Durango and the region. From the shops and restaurants to the historic hotels and events, downtown Durango attracts a wide variety of people. Many also use the Animas River Trail, another key feature of Durango, which follows the Animas River corridor as it snakes through Durango and provides access for pedestrians and bicyclists to parks, soft surface trails, hotels, neighborhoods, and commercial areas. However, it is missing one key connection: a safe and convenient way across Camino into downtown Durango. The need for a safe and easy connection at 12th and Camino has been made apparent over the years by the increased use of the Hawk Crossing since its 2011 installation, as evidenced by the city's pedestrian and bicycle counts. Increased development on the west side of Camino del Rio and along the entire U.S. Highway 550 corridor has increased the number of people trying to cross Camino del Rio. Development is also added to the traffic on Camino del Rio, which is only anticipated to increase in the future, making a safe and easy connection that much more important. Camino del Rio, or U.S. Highway 550, moves approximately 30,000 vehicles per day through Durango. Camino serves as a major transportation route for goods and people. There are only 3 existing crossings of Camino del Rio that provide connection to the Animas River Trail. College Drive and 9th Street are signalized intersections with 1 crosswalk each and varying bike infrastructure. The Hawk Beacon at 12th Street provides an at-grade crossing outside of a signalized intersection with a direct connection to the trail. While all these crossings provide varying safety and connection, they are not the safest or most convenient crossings for bicyclists and pedestrians. These crossings are also affected by traffic volumes, whether waiting for the light to turn green or the Hawk Beacon coordinating with the signalized intersections and traffic. They are not quick options. These at-grade crossings also have a significant negative on Camino del Rio's vehicular capacity, often stopping traffic on the main line and creating bottlenecks for the city of Durango and CDOT's traffic system. An underpass along Camino del Rio has been a conversation for nearly 2 decades. The conversation went from discussion in plans to a study in 2009, when the first feasibility study was conducted and determined an underpass between 10th and 14th Streets was not feasible at the time. In 2011, the Hawk Crossing was installed by the city at 12th Street, providing an at-grade crossing. Then in 2012, the city adopted the Multimodal Transportation Master Plan, which identified the need for a grade-separated crossing of Camino del Rio. This need was again identified in the 2016 Multimodal Transportation Plan. In 2020, a new feasibility study looked at crossings throughout the Camino corridor and determined that an underpass near Veterans Way and 12th Street would be the best mid- to long-term solution. The Multimodal Advisory Board prioritized the Camino crossing and recommended it to City Council for funding from the 2015 half-cent sales and use tax fund in the 2021 budget. City Council approved the budget request and the design project was funded. The project was awarded to a local consultant team, SEH, in the fall of 2021 and the design project began. The 2020 feasibility study also investigated short-term and mid- to long-term crossing solutions between College Drive and 12th Street. The study determined that the most feasible, grade-separated crossing in the North Camino corridor was near 12th Street or Veterans Way. The goal of this project is to design a crossing that people will want to use and is convenient and/or appealing, is accessible to all pedestrian and bicycle users, including those with a disability, which means designing it at grades that everyone can maneuver. The crossing needs to be safe. Lastly, it needs to be easily maintained. To meet these goals, the crossing has several design parameters. First, it must be an underpass. Second, it cannot modify the train tracks in any way. Third, it must be located between Veterans Way and the north end of River City Hall west of Camino and at or north of 12th Street east of Camino. Fourth, the minimum height is 8.5 feet and the minimum width is 14 feet. Fifth, The trail surface must be concrete and have a grade of less than 5%. Sixth, sufficient sight lines on both ends. Seventh, landscaping will need to be incorporated into the entry ramps and artistic design elements throughout. As with any large infrastructure project, there are technical considerations and requirements that are part of the design. This part of the Camino corridor has multiple large utilities that will have to be navigated around or relocated, potentially being costly challenges. The underpass will also need to connect appropriately to existing infrastructure on either side of Camino. As with much of Durango, there are mill tailings in this area of the Camino corridor that will likely have to be properly handled and disposed of per CDPHE's Uranium Mill Tailings Management Plan. Drainage will need to be managed to prevent pooling within the underpass. Design will need to take snow removal and ice buildup into consideration. Most of Camino is surrounded by private property, necessitating any alignment to involve easements, licenses, or acquiring property for the connecting ramps. Lastly, the existing access to businesses and 12th Street will need to be considered and accommodated with any design. What happens after the Design Charrette? SCH will create a conceptual design from those created during the charrette. That conceptual design will be taken to each of the regular meetings of the participating boards and commissions. City staff and the design consultant will also take the conceptual design to the public to receive the community's input. The consultant and city staff will then work on the engineering and technical aspects of the draft design and address comments, then bring the design back to the public for final comment. Design is anticipated to be complete in late fall of 2022. Construction could then begin 2023 to 2024. Thank you for being a part of this process.